Hello everybody and welcome once again to The Brink as we come to you once again for our podcast edition of the show. Not that we really had much of a choice because we're not on radio anymore and this is all we do. It's our 49th podcast episode, October 30th, 2017. We're back on a Monday for you after having a couple of days late last week due to our travels, but after our longest ever episode in our podcasting history last week, 3 glorious hours. Back to a little bit of normality this week as we have a few regular guests, some segments, and everything else under the sun. We're recovering still from the Brink Unleashed 8, and we're very, very excited with the end product. It's sort of been put together, the final pieces, and we'll let you know at the end of this episode when you can expect some of the trailers as well as the film itself to be released in a couple of weeks' time. But we didn't get to do this last week because we're on the road, but just a bit of a shout out to our listeners around the world and standard, I think, this week. We've got no new countries, sadly, joining us this week, but again, shout out must go to our Canadian listeners, our American, our UK, and our Cook Islands listeners. Again, we're picking up the Cook Islands fandom, so excited for that. As always, always open to any of these people messaging us in, communicating, saying g'day, saying hello, and we'll get you on the show. We can talk to somebody from the Cook Islands. I don't know if I've ever met anybody from the Cook Islands before, except when they competed on that season for Survivor, but yeah, give us a shout. We'll give you a shout, and that's how we'll do it here on The Brink. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had our next guest on. Apparently, we've needed to take a bit of a break from all things presidential, but even then, it seems that taking a break doesn't really make anything much happen. I do, of course, speak of Paul Dakoda. Paul, welcome back to the show.
Yep, good to be here.
Now, we talk about Donald Trump, and we were just talking about off-air then, that there's not really been a whole lot compared to what we're used to. Maybe he just knows that we're not talking about him, so he's like, oh, I don't need to do anything because the real news isn't reporting on us. Not sad or something. I don't know. I mean, he really hasn't done anything that bad in the last few weeks.
Not really. He's just been going about his business, I guess, being incompetent and whatnot. But yeah, I guess everything's died down a little bit after the kind of the hurricane crises and crises. That's it.
Yeah, that one. I was going to say that. I mean, one of the things that I was interested. I saw like the headline of was that he's going to be releasing files to do with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. But you've just told me that it's not all of them, it's only some of them. A, why? B, can he do this? And C, why?
I'm not sure, but it seems like maybe he's just curious himself. He's had a look at them and he's thinking, oh, okay, I can handle this, but other people can't. Yes, Donald, that's probably not the case. But yeah, it seems like a strange move. If you're going to declassify something and release it, then maybe just release all of it.
It's weird, and like I'm just saying here, Mr. Trump said in a memo, I have no choice. I mean, you do have a choice, Donald. I mean, it's kind of... I don't know if they do it in America, but isn't there something in Australia that like every 30 years, like classified files get released or something like that? There's like on New Year's Day... like the National Archives release certain documents to do with Parliament and all that sort of stuff 30 years ago. It's kind of interesting every year. So, I mean, I don't know if that's just an Australian thing. They do that around the world in all the countries. But, I mean, this just seems like an incredible, like, I mean, obviously it's one of the biggest conspiracy, plots. Or a lot of people have all these theories around how he really was assassinated and everything along those lines. I mean, the last US president to get assassinated, I mean, obviously it's a big deal. But, I mean, it just seems like, what does he have to gain from this? I mean, it just seems it's almost like, well, I'm just going to soil the legacy of one of the US's most popular and, I guess, best presidents of all time by showing, oh, he really did this, or I can't even fathom to think what he's trying to gain from this.
Yeah, maybe it's just take a bit of heat off him, cause a bit of a distraction, really. People go back through. It's making headlines and whatever. Maybe he's going to do something himself that's controversial, and this will take, a little bit of space in the news cycle. 2,800
previously secret documents will be released. Only 300 will be placed under a 180-day review, so government agencies can again scrutinise the remaining documents. I mean, look, I'm sure it's fascinating. Yep, fair enough. A lot of people are fascinated by JFK, but, if he's going to release any sort of government, classified files, where are the Area 51 ones, Paul? I want to see, these classified documents from Roswell. These are the ones I want to see.
Yeah, definitely. They're the, if you're going to be try and be transparent, let's see the good stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, do something good, Donald. Be the president who gets in there and is like, I'm just going to release secret files. Just I'm not going to be in here for that long. May as well go out with the bang. I mean, what else has been happening with him? There's been Republicans who are going against him. I mean, that's nothing new, though, is it?
Oh, I guess not as they're not going up. They haven't been going after him as kind of full on and aggressively as they are now. We've got Bob. Is it Bob Corker? I think it's Bob Corker, and Flake is another one. So interesting names. Corkers of names, really. Corker and Flake, and then McCain's obviously been opposing him this entire time. He's kind of been like a John Wayne or a Clint Eastwood figure that's kind of wandered into town. He's rogue and he's disrupting all the the bad guys' plans. It's
you don't see this pretty much anywhere else, I think, do you? I mean, we don't. I mean, I guess we've had some issues with the both our parties when it comes to people leaking things and going against them, but I guess not so publicly. I mean, it's kind of like Kevin Rudd with Julia. It wasn't me. What are you talking about? It wasn't me. And now it's like, oh, Tony Abbott. Oh, no, it's not me. What are you talking about? Whereas nowadays, the Republicans aren't afraid to come out and be like, yeah, it was me. I hate this guy.
Yeah. I guess Australian politicians, except with a few exceptions, of course, obviously Pauline Hanson and a few, but they're not as divisive as figures, I don't think. Maybe Tony Abbott was a little bit as well, and probably is more so now. But I guess when Tony Abbott was Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull was a little bit against him on Q&A. You'd see him standing up and saying, I don't agree with him on certain things and stuff like that. But yeah, not to this level. This is kind of like openly attacking and declaring that Trump is a threat to democracy and is debasing America, basically, with his actions, and that he's not fit to be president.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I've just Googled his Donald Trump, as always, and apparently he's released his own real news channel via Facebook. So weekly he will provide an update on what Donald Trump really is doing, as opposed to the fake news. So there's a couple of people who clearly have been roped in by the administration to be the face of this. I mean, this is kind of just like a propaganda TV channel, isn't it? If he's just like producing a TV channel, this is North Korea Kim Jong-un style.
Yeah, this is like first page of the dictator's textbook right here. Yes, create your own news channel, because that'll be impartial.
Maybe I could get a job for it. I mean, I've got nothing to lose. I'm not American. It's crazy. Like, this is legitimately something that he's doing, and I haven't watched any of this, but I'm just seeing the screenshots here. But it's some sort of it's a blonde lady standing in front of a screen. It's got all DonaldJTrump.com all over it. Trump, like, he's even got his own logo still. And I mean, this is the president of the United States. Does he need to use his logo? He is the president of the United States. Yeah. He has a logo. Like, I mean, where was the Obama logo? The Bush logo? The Clinton? This is ridiculous. He doesn't even, like, advertise the fact that he's a president. You wouldn't even know he's the president watching this video.
Yeah, apparently the US flag is not good enough for him in terms of a logo.
And this is a man who goes off at people for kneeling during the national anthem to be disrespectful. You're the president of your country. You can't even show their own flag behind you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's I'm expecting just lots of gold to be in the set on that kind of news channel. He tends to have a fascination with gold, does Donald.
I want the exclusive interview this week on Trump TV. We exclusively sit down with the president. I mean, he probably sits there.
The first question would be, Donald, is it true that you're the greatest person on earth?
I've met everybody out there, and I have to say I am the greatest of all time. All time.
Yeah, tremendous all time.
Tremendous. There's never been no one as good as me. I've met everyone. I mean, who's Kayleigh McKinney? Whoever she is, she's a journalist who really has been roped in by this administration. She's never working again after this. She's a former CNN contributor. He doesn't think CNN's real news. So what's he doing?
Yeah, maybe he's just thinking, she knows the ins and outs of CNN. She can bring them down from, she knows their secrets.
Well, I love the fact that now on Wikipedia, they've even put their own page for this weekly update. It's called the Real News Update, commonly called Trump TV. And it's published by Donald Trump's 2020 presidential campaign on Facebook. Wow, they've already started. They need to start early.
Started a while back. He did a rally in Florida, didn't he? A few months ago.
Wow, he really is kind of. He needs to, doesn't he? Basically, this is crazy, and I just love the fact on Wikipedia the Donald Trump hub at the bottom, just how big it is. Like you've got presidency, life and politics, books, speeches, campaigns, family related. There's Donald Trump in music.
Oh wow!
Wow,
yeah,
this is a big article. This is crazy. Donald Trump in music refers to songs, albums, and bands that refer to Donald Trump and various brands, including Trump Tower, his TV show, his hotel chain, and his casinos. There are songs going all the way back to the 1980s that mention Donald Trump.
I bet they're not flattering in the least. I don't know why he has a link to those. I reckon most of those would be Donald Trump is a dick.
There's one here, gentrification skank by the connotations. They say here, attention all property, wealthy and white Americans who believe in blah, 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 blah. It's got here at the end, God bless Donald Trump and the American dream. The Beastie Boys in their song Johnny Royale, Donald Trump and Donald Trump living in the men's shelter. Okay. There's a song here by Cindy Lee Berryhill called Trump. There's a song by Lou Reed called Sick of You, where there's a lyric that says they ordained the Trumps and then got the mumps.
Yeah, this sounds like, I don't know why he would have those on his website to promote himself.
Oh no, this is just Wikipedia. This isn't his website.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, this is sort of one of those ones where on Wikipedia they say all the things like in popular culture.
Yeah.
And I mean,
he's everywhere, obviously, because he's pretty. I guess he kind of symbolizes like that Wall Street greed mentality, doesn't he? I mean, I read American Psycho, and it seems like the whole thing is kind of based on Trump, and he pops up in the book constantly as kind of like this figure to aspire to by a lot of the Wall Street guys.
It's just so fascinating because you've got 80s, 90s, then you've got 2000 to 2009, then they've got so many post-2010. So there's between 2010 and 2014, then you've got 2015 to 2016, then you've got simply 2017. There's apparently Fiona Apple did a song called Tiny Hands. Big Sean and Eminem did a song called No Favors. Kendrick Lamar featuring U2, Triple X. Now that's a combination I wasn't expecting. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Who sold out more there?
Probably Kendrick.
Yeah. Anyway, we could be here all day going through this. It's so fascinating. I love just kind of the web of, mazes that you can go through on Wikipedia that always lead you to all these random things. And just the Donald Trump hub is just fascinating just reading here. He had a book called Think Big and Kick Ass. There you go. Anyway, I'm learning a lot here, Paul. Hopefully he'll do something in the next week, because, I mean, again, it's kind of weird, isn't it, to come on here. It's like whenever we don't have you on for a while, seriously, nothing seems to happen. Within the next week, we're probably going to be at nuclear war. So we are the show that makes Donald Trump do shit, apparently.
Yep, his schedule runs according to us.
Apparently. While I've got you, just really quickly, I will mention, though, completely off topic. I thought we'd end this on some good news, at least for yourself anyway. You don't know I was going to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you it anyway. Essendon did pretty well in the trade period. You must be pretty satisfied heading into 2018. Yeah,
they seem to pick up a few players in there that are going to kind of help us out, I think. It's interesting, though. It kind of seemed like the kind of players that we really already had kind of people who played similar roles in, like small defenders. We've got plenty of those, and we've got Sard now as well. We already had quite a few running defenders, but then again, you can never have too many of those. But, I mean, Cramery and Devon Smith, I mean, our small forwards are already doing quite well as well. We probably just needed another tall forward.
Well, by all means, send them our way, because I think you stole about 2 of the people we wanted. It was like Carlton, like, we will get Smith and Sard. They're our main targets. Next minute, they're going to Essendon. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think we've done pretty well. We should have a fair bit of depth next year.
I read a very good article about a week ago that was, I think it was The Age did it, and they were basically saying about how it was the Essendon-Carlton rivalry, and they were basically saying the race to Premiership 17 is on with the recruiting that both clubs have done, and sort of saying how hopefully the rivalry between the two clubs, which has sort of died in the last few years, can be reignited. And they were basically saying that Essendon has sort of gone for maybe more of a short-term plan to kind of chase success in the next few years, whereas Carlton have gone the more long-term route, something that will take maybe within the next 10. So, but I mean, having said that, the fact that we live in a world now, Paul, where we can literally say in the last 2 years the Western Bulldogs and Richmond won premierships, who the fuck knows who's winning the premiership next year? I mean, if you had said that to me 2.5 years ago, and I'm sure it's the same to you, we wouldn't have believed it. We've just grown up used to seeing those two clubs not do well, and here we are living in a world where they've both won the last 2 grand finals.
Yeah, it's interesting that because like the long-term approach, it doesn't always pay off a lot of the time. I mean, you look at the recruiting of the Carlton, Essendon, and other kind of teams that have been around that midsection the last 10 years or so. They look like they've recruited superstars, but they just don't pan out to be as good as the hype really. But then you see teams like Hawthorn, Sydney, Geelong, who just constantly seem to be up the top of the ladder. Their recruiting it's almost like an ongoing thing where they kind of get rid of players and then bring other players in so that they always have this strong team. Whereas I think sometimes just planning too far ahead is probably not the greatest thing. But then again, short term. I mean, it has its downfalls as well.
Well, a lot of people suggested that GWS are going to win like the next 6 grand finals. I think I remember the beginning of this year reading people's predictions. I think there were 20 predictions on AFL.com. Like 19 of them chose GWS to win the grand final, and I think the other person might have picked West Coast, I believe, from memory. So I mean, it was kind of it's interesting to see that, and you look at the Gold Coast, similar thing, but they're kind of going the opposite direction. So. Yeah, it's a fascinating sport at the moment, and we'll see who we have next year. I'm sure this time next year we'll probably be talking about as Melbourne as premiers or somebody like that. Just break the droughts. That's what I keep saying. Keep breaking these droughts. I like it seeing these teams starve of success, except for St Kilda. It's kind of fun to see them suffer a bit. So,
yeah.
Paul, as always, Trump and turned AFL, but we'll get you on again soon, and we'll speak to you shortly.
Yeah, no problem.
Time to hit a button and hear this.
This is like a flashback. This is like a dream.
And flash ourselves back. We're going back to the year 2009 again as we continue our look at that year of the best of 2009. And for the very first time on the show, we became a sort of a regular yearly segment that we would do, the world's greatest shave, raising money, of course, for the Leukemia Foundation every single March. But we did it for the very first time back in 2009. Now, 2008, we coloured our hair, but we didn't quite have the balls to shave. But in 2009, for the very first time in my life, I shaved my head, and I did it live on air. So let's go back to that year and hear me getting some balls and shaving my head for the Leukemia Foundation World's Greatest Shave 2009. And the time has come for me to fill those undies up with a bit more poo, because I think the poo is building up very much so, Josh. Yeah, I can hear those very closely. We actually have a couple of people in the studio now. I'm not sure if they... Yeah, Katie wants to say hello, but... Yes, it's getting there. Josh, are you actually going to do this properly?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you absolutely 100% positively sure that this is going to be done properly?
Ben, would I ever lie to you?
I'm just trying to extend this out a little bit. So, are we going to get it started now, do you reckon? Yes? All right. So, hang on, but people who are just tuning in and are going, what the F's going on right now? I'm shaving my head for the world's greatest shave, so it's going to happen now, apparently.
And I've never shaved anyone's head in my life, so this is going to be fun.
And so, Josh is about to do it. You can start any time now, Josh.
Put something around your neck.
Just do it. Just do it. All right. No guts, no glory. As people are starting to get a bit worried now, as they can see it going, Josh, you can speak a little bit over in the microphone, can you?
I can.
Yes. I've been informed, actually, that people have been doing this on ABC Radio this morning, so they've stolen our idea. How's it looking back there?
It's like you've got little hair at the moment.
Yeah, it's very long.
We need to give some running commentary, I think. You got to get rid of the fluffy bits down the back too, because
Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there.
it's there. People, this is great radio, isn't it?
It is.
I don't even know if people can hear me over that buzzing. They might not hear me at all. Josh, keep giving some running commentary.
Okay, well, at the moment, I think we should have had a number 1 on the thing. I'm going to go to the bare bones of it once I've got the bulk of your hair off.
Yeah, the bulk of my hair. There's like about 3 kilos. Is that what you said before?
Yeah, that's all ingrown though.
Now, we're filming this at the moment, so people can, see it. And they can buy the hair on eBay, apparently. We're going to sell it. I know that the crowd outside are wanting to buy some.
We've got little baggies for it.
You could make a jumper out of this. You could knit, do you think?
It needs to be long enough.
I could just see all the nanas there going, oh, that Ben's shaving his hair. I think I might
I
start.
think you're going to go bald when you're older, Ben. Bit of a widow's peak going on up here.
My dad likes to call it the golden arches. It's a family trait. A bit of hair went in my mouth. It tastes quite nice, actually. I can see why the newspapers say I'm yummy. That's very nutritious.
Almost clogged up the...
I can't wait to see the photos, actually. They're going to look well, I think. How's it going, Josh?
It's going well.
How bald am I?
Not bald yet. Give it a moment.
Okay.
Did you want me to go all the way down, don't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay.
We might have to knit this up. It's going well. People at home, if you're still listening and on the internet or wherever you may be listening, this is why you shouldn't shave your head on radio, because no one can see it and you're just trying to talk over something going and it's sounding very weird, I'm guessing, right now.
Yeah, well.
Very weird at all.
We're getting there.
It feels kind of soothing, actually.
I'm doing something soothing to you. I don't want anyone to hear that.
No, that sounds a bit wrong. I feel like I'm so famous right now with all these cameras taking photos of me.
You have a big hair in your eyebrow, Ben.
A big hair in my eyebrow, I've been told. That's my publicist. She's, turn to the side. Hello, look at me go. Alright, I think the listeners are starting to lose their threshold, so we should sing or something.
You should do this to get the lyrics. Okay.
I should have been doing that at the same time. Now, right.
This is where I take the clipper thingy off.
Right.
And
we're going to go the baldness.
Okay.
Now, this might hurt, actually.
I'll try not to.
Now, this is where I get slightly scared. Is it going? Is it working? I take that as a yes. I'm getting shakes of head right now, and I'm starting to get scared of what the hell this is going to look like. Katie is taking photos. I'm not moving. And I'm getting filmed. Is that still working? I think Josh is going to give me a mohawk at the same time. I think we might actually go to some music right now and come back. So if we'd like to cue that up. Josh, you can stop that for one moment. Turn that off for a second. We'll go to the next song. Thank you very much. It's actually something that I just now do. I just get to the point where I'm like, can't be bothered getting a haircut. I'm a bit stingy with the money. I'm just going to shave my head. So it obviously caught on a little bit, and something I'll still do from time to time. Been some time since we've had this person on the show, which means it's perfect time for Dakoda. What does Dakoda say? And he's not in my house this time, thank God. He's just down the road a little bit, but we just didn't invite him over. What's up, Dakoda?
Hey, how come I wasn't invited over?
I don't have a good excuse. Just cause I was like, oh, cool, I could do a recording with Dakoda, but I don't really want him over because then he'll want shit and he'll be here for a while and I'll have to set up and put on makeup. So I just kind of thought, well, look, we just sit here on the computer for once and go back to old times.
We're doing a Brink recording, not shooting a porn shoot.
Oh, well, that's later on, I guess. I mean, you can come over next week, I guess. We can do some Forget the Lyrics and shit. That
No,
was
I don't
fun.
want to. Don't want to anymore.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't want to anymore.
that's my
You've
feeling.
lost your opportunity.
What's been happening in Dakotaville, though? It's been, I think, about a month or so. Anything exciting to report?
He's done. Yay.
Cool. And how's that going?
Yeah. Well, I'm passing, so I guess it's going well.
So you haven't quit yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Are you tempted to, or are you still struggling?
Not at the moment.
Are you on the toilet right now or something? Like, what's that noise?
No, I'm pouring a drink.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's gotten to that point already where my interviews are leading people to the bottle. Oh, God, Ben again. Get the scotch. It's a bit early, isn't it? It's only 11 o'clock in the morning, Dakota.
It's just iced tea, yeah. It's just iced tea.
Oh, iced tea. Right. Is it Lipton's?
It is Lipton.
Of course it would be. What else would it be? Lipton's,
Yeah.
proud sponsor of the Brink. Not really, but they might
Exactly.
be one day. Who knows? So uni is back. Are you doing?
Well, Uni's not back. Uni's finished.
Oh, it's finished. Oh, right.
Yeah. Yes.
For forever, or
No, for 3 months.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. It's done for the year.
so that's good then. Sorry, I
Yeah.
misheard you before. So
Yeah, you
what?
did.
In summer. So I was going to say you didn't do a whole year. You obviously only did one semester, didn't you? So I mean,
Yeah.
what would you? How would you summarize one semester of university life in 5 words?
It's not what I expected.
It's not what I expect. That's 5 words. Well done.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
You didn't even hesitate with that one either. You played that well, or you just got lucky. I think you just
did.
got lucky.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, that's good.
But so, you get 3 months off now, and you're going back again for next semester.
I am, yep.
Cool. You sound very thrilled for that. What's on the agenda then for 3 months? What's Dakota going to do until he goes back?
Well, I was like, I might look for a job, but the thing is I don't really want to do stuff.
Hope Centrelink is
So
listening.
maybe I won't look for a job.
Well,
I'm not sure yet.
so that's it. What are you doing for 3 months?
Yeah.
Might look for a job. Don't know yet. Cool.
Essentially, for the 3 months, I'm going to argue with myself whether or not I should look for a job. And then by the time I go, yeah, I might get a job, Uni will be back. So,
Okay. And what we're looking for? What's Dakota Leary want when it comes to a job?
well, I've got experience in cafe work, so I'll just go back to work in a cafe, I suppose, or
Cool.
at a bar somewhere. I don't know.
You could start your own cafe. It could be like Dakota's.
Yep. Could be.
Yep.
Or something else.
Oh, he's a passionate young 15-year-old, this one.
I'm 18. Actually, I'm almost 19.
Well, I was going to say, your
19
birthday's soon, isn't it?
Yeah, 12th of November.
12th of November. Okay. So, what does Dakota Leary do for his birthday?
I don't know. We're going to get wasted.
Yeah, well, okay, cool, because that's what you
But-
do when you're 19.
Unintentionally wasted.
How do you get unintentionally wasted?
Well, you go out of town with the intention of just having a few drinks, and your friends are like, "No, have heaps."
Okay. And then you just
And you're
end
like,
up,
yeah,
like,
right.
waking up next to a badger.
Yep, basically.
Yeah, okay. And what's an 18-year-old, like, where do they go? Like, I went out for the first time in Hobart in, like, 10 years on my birthday this year. And, like, nowhere
Yeah.
I used to go to existed, or they would just change names, or, like, I don't know. People are like, oh, let's go here. And I'm like, cool. I don't know where that is, but awesome. Like, what is the go-to place now for 18-year-olds?
Well, I don't usually go to clubs and stuff.
Oh, because I'm too cool for
most-
those.
Most of my friends go to O-Bar and stuff.
Right.
I usually hang out at the Republic and stuff like that.
Oh, well, look at me. La-di-da. We're too cool to go into the city. We're going to stick to North Hobart.
Exactly. Yeah.
O-Bar was a thing. I went to O-Bar, I think. That's been around for a while.
I hate it. I
do
went once and I'm like, no.
is that rabbit still there? Isn't there a bunny when you go inside?
Yeah, the rabbit's still there.
Yeah, thought so. Yeah, I mean, I show my age. ISO Bar, Club Surreal, they were my haunts. Surreal shut down like 3 months after I turned 18, so clearly like, oh no, Ben's 18. Time to close down.
ISO bar only just shut down.
Yeah, I heard that. You know, I actually went out in the last week or so. I don't know, you're a long-term listener to our show, Dakota. I know you listen to everything that Noah and I got to on our trip.
Definitely.
But we went drinking in Launceston on a Sunday night. That was a happening place.
Was it? Or
well, I mean, we went to our bar that we were staying at. They closed at 9. We had a smelly pool guy hanging around us, which was a bit weird. Then we went hunting for the monkeys, but they'd gone. So then we went to the Royal Oak. Then they kicked us out at 10. And then we overheard this person say, "Oh, Irish Murphy's is still open." So we went to Irish Murphy's and we left at 1, I think. I don't know, we had a bit to drink. But, I mean, it's Launceston for you. I mean, God, we braved the city on a Sunday night.
I'm surprised you're back.
Me too. We even survived Queenstown.
You survived Queenstown?
We even survived Wynyard. That's a death pool of a town.
God.
Smithton, oh my God.
Holy shit.
Right?
Do it.
I know. But yeah, that's all about me, I guess. But, I mean, you got 3 months, Dakota. Do something. How's Hames? What's he up to?
I don't know. We get coffee sometimes.
Oh, yeah? You know?
I need to do shit. I need to do stuff.
What about that guy who, came into the studio at high noon and didn't bring us dim sims?
What guy?
Yeah, well, I don't know his name. He's your friend.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, the Josh.
Yeah, Josh, of course.
Yeah.
The Josh.
Yeah, he's around. He's around.
Do shit with him.
I do.
Okay.
Fuck.
Cool. Look, at the time of this being released on the Monday, we probably would know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway because we're recording this on a Friday to date this. But Lewis Hamilton going to win the championship this weekend?
Surely. He's got to.
Yeah, it's a bit sad. I mean, you're a Lewis fan, I guess, but...
I am, but it's still... I would have liked to see it come down to the final race.
Yeah, I feel bad for Seb. Poor little Seb.
Yeah. It all went so well, and it all just went so bad.
I know. I mean, it's kind of fizzled off this season. I feel it was so good, but now it's just kind of you know.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened.
I mean, I couldn't watch it live the other day because I was in Launceston.
Yeah.
But I finally watched it. But
and I don't think Mercedes have brought any particularly major upgrades over the years, so I don't know. It's got a bit more exciting this year. It's great, but I mean, it's at the end of the day, we're getting the same result. I mean, yeah,
you know, I mean, I know you like Mercedes, but what happened to Bottas? He's gone. He just fell off a cliff, didn't he?
Did he?
Well, I mean, he hasn't done shit all since when did he last win a race? Austria, wasn't it?
He's gone all right. He's got on the podium a few times. bit of fourth.
Here's a question for you, actually. Did you see the introductions that they did at the US, where they kind of either had that?
Yeah.
How everyone's complaining about this crap. I fucking loved it. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I thought it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That was great.
This is
what everyone's complaining about.
Yeah, I mean that's America for you. That's how they do shit there, and that's why I love the country. And that was so much fun. And yeah, I mean I don't think they can do that every race because that dude is American and he wouldn't travel around the world. But every year for the American Grand Prix, for sure, do it. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean
they're thinking of doing different stuff for different
which is great.
Countries.
And I mean, they had that weird superimposed image of a flying bird over the track, which is strange. But I
think that was actually a bird.
No, they came out and admitted apparently it was a computer generated image. So
what?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
But for a computer generated image, you'd have to pre-record the race and then put it over.
Oh well, I think no, you can. There are certain. Look, you've seen it on a lot of the some of the tracks. They'll have those superimposed advertising on the track. I'm sure you've seen those.
Yeah, but that's not
on-screen
CGI.
graphics. Oh well, I mean, it was I guess it was a version of on-screen graphics in some.
The bird would be CGI, sure.
Well, I don't know, but when I was in Austin last year, I did not see giant birds flying over the circuit.
Yeah.
But the one thing I was going to say, because we always get on Formula One tangents, which I think is exciting news. They've teased that in 2018 they're going to have an online streaming service that you can pay for, a subscription package. Which I mean, that to me is the only reason I get Foxtel. Hello to all our good friends at Foxtel. Is essentially because of Formula One, and AFL's a bonus. But you can already get an AFL Live Pass. So I would pay for an AFL Live Pass if I also could get a Formula One. So if they all of a sudden have a Formula One Live Pass, I am no longer getting Foxtel. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't pay for
Same.
Foxtel, admittedly.
So how much would it be?
It would be expensive. I can't imagine it will be cheap.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the thing is, like, the NBA and the NHL, for example, for a season's maybe $120 US, so 150 Australian. And, like, you got to admit, like, NHL, NBA, they have, like, 80 games, you know, for your team each year.
Yeah.
They're only going to have 21 races. So, you know, even $10 a race is $210 for the year, which, I mean, is pricey. But, I mean, with all the extra content, apparently there's rumours that they'll have classic races that you can go back into the archives for. So, I mean, look, I think that I look forward to sort of an out, but this will get a lot of people on board. I mean, you know, it's great that Liberty Media are finally getting this sort of into the 21st century. And I read a report recently that they did some ranking of all major sports leagues around the world and who's got the best social media and the best internet. And Formula 1's like jumped into the top 5. And, you know, 3 years ago when Bernie Ecclestone is basically saying, oh, social media sucks.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. It's great for everything. Are you going to the Australian Grand Prix next year, Dakota?
I hope to, if I can scrounge up the money.
Cool. I hope I can too. I'll be on the Gold Coast in my job, but I hope I can get my first weekend off, so I can jet down to Melbourne for at least the race, and then bugger back up to the Gold Coast. So
what job is this on the Gold Coast?
I'm working with the Commonwealth Games, so you know, you and
what
I
are
are both
doing?
Connected with the Commonwealth Games. You and I are both carrying the Queen's baton.
We are, yes.
It's exciting. I hope we get to hand it to each other. I'm going to deliberately make you drop it so you get embarrassed around the world.
No, I don't think we'll get to hand it to each other. There's only 200 metres per person.
But
and I'm running literally through the middle of Glenorchy.
I don't know if I've gotten my route yet. I just know I'm in Glenorchy.
Interesting.
But you can run or walk it. So what are you going to do? Are you going to run it? Or are you going to walk it?
I don't know. It's only 200 metres, so I guess I can run it. But
I think I might walk it to soak in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, 200 metres. The same Bolt can do that in 18 seconds. I could probably do it in 50 seconds.
Right.
But
maybe I'll walk it.
I don't know. And this is the one thing I'll say, and this is no disrespect to the whole thing, because I'm honoured and you're honoured to be doing it. But if this was the Olympics, we would get the option to pay $500 and we would get to keep the torch. Because I remember during Sydney 2000,
I think we still do.
Well, you would have been 2 when Sydney 2000 was on, so you wouldn't remember it. But I remember we went to one of the lighting ceremonies and we got talking to one of the torchbearers, and he was all like, "Oh yeah, no, I can buy this torch. It's $500," and you'd want to keep it. Whereas the Queen's baton, you don't have separate ones. This is just literally the one baton. The Queen. This is the Queen in her cupboard. She's like, "Hey Philip, let's give this off to the Gold Coast." And the funniest thing is, I don't know if you've ever know how this works, but basically, the Queen writes a message. She puts it in this baton. She starts it off. She handed it off to Anna Meares back in March. Goes all the way around the world. Then on the opening ceremony next year in March, the Queen, she can't fly to Australia. She's too fragile, so it'll be Prince Charles. He'll get there in front of the Metricon Stadium, in front of the world. He opens up the baton. He reads a message, and all it literally says is, "Oh, go athletes! Brilliant!" It says 3 lines. I mean,
oh jeez,
they've got Skype now.
How do you even know it's from the Queen?
Well, exactly. One of her aides has written it. Your Majesty, I've written, "Go athletes, brilliant." "Oh no, that's not believable. Fuck off." Okay, I'll add that in there. "That's not believable. Fuck off." It'll be something like, "Oh, on behalf of the Commonwealth, I wish the best to all the athletes. Let's sterling 13 days of competition and don't take drugs," basically.
Yeah.
So,
basically.
I love the Commonwealth Games. They're kind of slowly becoming a bit more obsolete compared to back in terms of how they used to be growing up. But they are just the Olympics Junior. And also, I always love the Commonwealth Games just because to me that's how America must feel at the Olympics, because Australia wins 80 gold medals. So we finish on top all the time, except for the last ones in Glasgow. We got second to bloody England. But literally at the Olympics, you wake up and it's Australia won a bronze today, yay! Whereas at the Commonwealth Games, it's we only won 17 gold today. A disappointing day for Australia. So it's I just love the Commonwealth Games, the fact that, this is how America must feel, dominating the world. But anyway. Anything else to add? Cool. I don't know.
Not really. I don't have much else to add on the Commonwealth Games.
Anything else to add on life? Any opinions you want to share before we let you go?
Drugs are bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Stick to alcohol.
Well,
regardless of the fact that it's a drug, just ignore that. Fuck off.
ladies and gentlemen, the Glenorchy Young Citizen of the Year. Are you running for council now that they're like redoing this again?
I am actually.
Are you serious?
I'm actually serious.
Holy
I'm running for alderman.
Holy fuck! I am not.
Yeah.
I am not voting in the election next year. I'm glad this is the part where I am leaving Glenorchy City Council finally. So
you vote for me. It will be good.
will I? What do
Yeah.
I get?
Well, we can talk about that off air.
Wow, you're just admitting to bribing me. That's photo bribery. Vote 1, Dakoda Leary. Dim Sims is all I request.
Dim Sims is all you request. All right.
Free Dim Sims for every citizen of Glenorchy. You should
Yeah,
run on a
I'll do that.
That'd be a fun platform to run on. Yes.
Free Dim Sims. Yeah.
Dakoda Leary, what will you be running on? Yes, Your Honour, I will be running on the notion that every citizen of Glenorchy will get a free Dim Sim. Oh, yes, we vote for Dakoda.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
That's not that hard. Just go to Woolworths, buy like 100 bags of those, like 50 bags of Dim Sims.
No. Well, in Glenorchy, all I have to do is offer them free beer and they should be right. So.
True. Free drugs.
Yeah. Free knives.
Free weapons. Free
weapons.
burnt out cars to save them from already doing it. So
exactly. Should be easy. Yeah.
yeah, why not? Dakota, it's fun. We'll get you in the house next time. We'll do some songs and shit, and maybe not shit. So it's a bit awkward. But thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
One thing we've been doing over the last few weeks is bringing you some snippets, some best-of highlights from sort of episodes that we're recording on our sister shows. One of them, of course, the Oz Network. And we've been doing DC Month. We're looking at the 4 DCEU movies in the lead up to Justice League, which is coming out in November. Suicide Squad was our latest one, and as always, it gets a little bit fun. There's a witch sort of woman in it. If you haven't seen Suicide Squad, I explain it very well. I'm definitely trying to get you to listen to our other podcasts. And Colin and I got a little bit, I don't know if you'd say excited, but we got a little bit sidetracked, as we often do, in regards to certain treatment of this character. I do also like this bit there where they walk into the bit and Rick Flag sort of sees her. And what does Deadshot say? You need to go in there and you need to slap her ass and tell her to knock this shit off.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go over too well.
Again, I love the fact that there's complaints, oh, this bit's sexist. Like, for the love of God, it's just like, I don't even, like...
He's a villain!
He's a villain! Like, oh, even villains can't be sexist? No. No. Oh, he's a rapist?
And I love...
Make it sure that he's a consensual rapist? That's sexist.
Like, it's also, like, an incredibly powerful world-eating witch. And you want to pull the... She does not deserve to be objectified like that. She's killed many people. She has basically committed rape and turned half of the men in Midway City into avocado heads. Where's the outrage over her?
It doesn't matter, Colin. She's a woman. It's all right. It's fine. Like, that's a good point. She's like this evil, evil woman. No! Do not slap her on the ass! Sexist? Not take it. Sorry. When you kill her, you're not allowed to hit her. That's sexist. All right?
If we had just had that scene in there and she's like, hashtag me too.
Oh my God. Enchantress on Twitter. Tried to destroy the world, but objectified. Never okay. Hashtag me too. Two men talk about women's issues on the Oz Network. It always goes well. Now, again, that was just in the moment, heat of the moment. I think there was nothing inappropriate there. I think it was kind of a bit of an interesting conversation. But that episode's available now. Head to theoznetwork.net, and our Wonder Woman episode is coming up next. So get excited. We're excited. It's the Oz Network. Listen to it. We haven't done this in a few weeks. Classic interview. We don't actually have an introduction for classic interview. It's one of the few things we don't have an introduction for. But we've played some of our best interviews that we've had over our history on the Brink, and he's one that is kind of maybe not a huge household name, but one for me that was a big deal. And I think this is probably the last ever major interview we did on the show in terms of when we were still on radio. And back in 2015, when it was, we were still planning on having a full year, all that sort of stuff, we basically only lasted January because life changed and I had to sort of end the show. But we initially planned in 2015 to play the song Blue by Eiffel 65, to me, the second greatest song in the history of music, 100 times across the course of 2015. And given that we kind of had a little bit of an earlier finish than we thought we would to the year, we had to catch up on that. So we ended up doing well, and we ended up playing 100 times. But one of our goals was then to interview Eiffel 65, the band, lead singer Jeffrey J. And it actually turned out to be a little bit more difficult than we thought. We got people like Lou Bega on the show to kind of talk to about, Mambo No. 5, 1999 music and all that sort of stuff. We tracked down Jeffrey J, Eiffel 65, but it was kind of always a scheduling conflict. We just could never lock it in. But I think it was about a week ahead of our final show. We finally locked him in. We finally got the lead singer of Eiffel 65, Jeffrey J, on the show. So we're going to go back to the year 2015, and we're going to play our last ever major interview we had on the Brink at the time when we were on radio, of course. My chat with lead singer of Eiffel 65, Mr. Jeffrey J. Jeffrey J is the frontman of one of Italy's biggest bands, Eiffel 65, who received international success in 1999 with their mega hit Blue, as well as their follow-up song Move Your Body. A Grammy nomination, multiple number ones, and millions of albums sold later, the band is still touring the world and even recently brought their show to Australia back in 2012. I sat down with Jeffrey to talk about the song Blue, what the actual meaning is behind it, and just how the song managed to get into Iron Man 3 and the interesting request that Jeffrey, welcome to the Brink and Edge Radio.
Thank you, Ben. It's a big pleasure to be here, man.
It's a huge pleasure because, of course, we're speaking to you direct from Italy. So this is the joys of technology. And I also believe only a couple of weeks ago you celebrated your birthday too. So first of all, happy birthday for the other week.
Thanks. That's really nice of you to remember that. But just don't remember how old I am.
No,
because I don't want to remember that.
No. We make sure we just withhold that information, of course.
Yeah, I think I'll keep that for myself. Actually.
Yeah.
Even though with the internet it's really easy just to fetch any kind of information on anybody, so you just can't keep it away from people. Yes. Thank God I don't look as old as I am, so that's nice.
Well, I saw actually I think some pictures of you guys performing recently, and in all honesty, I don't think you guys have aged much since 1999. So whatever you're drinking there in Italy, Jeffrey, it's doing well for yourself.
Well, it's not something that I'm drinking, but I'm sleeping in the fridge, so it helps. It keeps you cold, it keeps you tight. Yeah, yes. It keeps you kind of up and going. So I think that helps.
That's the secret. That's the secret. People need to hear that.
Yeah, just gave that away to you, man.
Yes. Well, I could imagine for you that Australia is a country that, of course, you'd hold very close to your heart. Blue, huge here. Went number one for multiple weeks, and of course, as I said at the start, there you toured here a couple of years ago, and I believe was that your first time here to Australia when you did come here?
Well, yeah, it was my first time there. It was really great to be there. I do have some parents, some relatives, in Australia, in Melbourne. My aunt lives there, and she's been telling me all my life to go. And finally, we got to go down with the band. It was really great to meet up with her, and it was amazing to see what kind of response we had after all those years. Yeah, and the fans were still there, and it was like just being straight back into 99. That was so amazing.
I can imagine it's so nostalgic because, we obviously get a lot of bands kind of touring out here that go on those sort of tours. But, as you said, first time for you guys to be out here to perform. So I think all the people who were buying, Blue back in 1999 had waited 13 years to, hey, we finally get to see it live.
Yeah, that was really nice, and everybody was like coming up with the records and asking for autographs. It was just like being back then. It was incredible. It was like really, really amazing. We have to thank the fans, of course, for doing such a great job on this, and Blue becoming an evergreen. So it's not anymore tied to what time can do to your songs. It just jumped over all of that, and it's moving on from generation to generation. We have new fans coming on in, and that's so amazing. For dance music, that is something so hard to happen, because dance music is always tied to the moment that it's working on, and then it just disappears with everything else. So being able to jump over what normally dance music does and moving into the pop scene And grabbing an evergreen hit like Blue is such an amazing thing.
I mean, I can imagine when you guys were writing the song and writing the album back then before it was released, you can never really imagine how big it was going to become. So, I mean, when all that success sort of came about with Blue and then the album that followed, I mean, how do you handle that? The expectations that all of a sudden were being put on you with all your music?
Well, what really happens is that when you start, making music, you do want something big to happen, right? But you're just so into writing music that you just don't concentrate on that. And if obviously you're a dance music producer, you do write so many songs during the year and give it so many different names, and that's what happened with Blue back then. It was one of the projects we were working on at the time, and in 98, when it was originally released, we're talking about October 98, it was a real slow mover. So it kind of just pushed back in our mind. And in April 99, when it actually just blew everything up, like on the radio and TV, it was like, a bomb in your house. You just don't expect that to happen to you. And what is so amazing about it is that everything is so fuzzy. You have to be riding on airplanes and doing so many things that the only time that you do have to, understand that all of this is happening to you is when it's already gone. So you're in the mechanism, but you don't know you're into it. And when it all just passes by, like you started this interview saying everything that happened, the Grammy Awards and the million records sold. And I realized all of that when it was already, behind my back. So that's something that luckily your brain helps you work yourself with as this thing happens to you. Because if you do understand that all of that is happening, you kind of get flashed out of your head. And back then it was so busy and the schedule was so tight, you really didn't have any time to concentrate on what was happening to you.
Where did the idea for the song come from? I mean, I've read in past interviews that you've mentioned it's about sort of how the way people see things, but you also like people to leave the meaning open to interpretation, of course, I realise, with the song too.
Well, back then when we started writing Blue, it started off from Maori writing the piano, melody, which turned into the chorus, obviously. And when it came to be that I had to be putting lyrics to the song, at the time I was pushing myself into kind mental kind of stuff, wondering about how we are, the universe, and what we do and what we see, concentrating on the fact that if something is red, is it really red, or do we see it red? That kind of stuff. And I was moving my mind into that kind of thing. And I realized that we see things as we are made to see things. And we do that with our life. So we kind of have a lens, a colored lens that we filter things with. So the people we choose, the clothes we buy, the kind of life we want to live, the things we like and the things we don't like, we all filter this with our personal lens. And everybody has their own personal lens. So I use the metaphor of this concept with the color blue. So that's what it means when I say I have a blue house with a blue window, a blue girlfriend, a blue tree, and everything is blue. It's not that I'm totally crazy, but the thing is that I'm explaining that that's what people do. You have your unique color and you filter everything with that color. So that's the metaphor. And we pushed it into a sort of kind of happy song. So people, would dance to it and they would feel good to it. But if someone would like to, move into the meaning of the song and start asking themselves what exactly is it talking about, then they could push themselves into something more mindful as that.
And one of the things, of course, that no doubt over the years people have always misquoted the lyrics, as they do with songs. And, of course, obviously with Blue, people think that it's, the lyric, after I'm blue, if I were green, I would die.
Yeah, right. Well, I had a big problem in the United States with that. There were a lot of people thinking that we were saying stuff like that, but it's really just not anything. It's like la la la,
Yeah.
I mean, da ba dee da ba die. It's just la la la. It's a new way of saying la la la. That's what it was, because we kind of wanted something that would not move into any language or anything, and kind of get people singing no matter what part of the world they were from, and that's the main part, of Blue, of the chorus part, that tied the entire world. It had no time and no language, actually. So it's not like something you'd be writing in English and you would have to know English exactly to sing that song, or somehow, at least move your way into that kind of language. So, Blue, luckily, did not do that.
So what was it about the song then in America you mentioned that got you into trouble?
Well, there were a lot of people coming up and saying, "Are you a racist? I mean, are you trying to say in a different way that if you were black and you were not white, you would kill yourself and stuff like that?" And of course, I mean, I come from the United States. I've lived there for a long time, and that explains my accent from New York and anything. And I am nothing. I mean, I am no way a racist. I mean, I have a lot of different friends that are Italian, Japanese, and a lot of black people that I like. I mean, really good friends. So that has nothing to do with being a racist. And we do not say if I was green, I would die. There was no meaning of that kind in the song. I mean, it really talks about the thing that I explained before, about the lens and the color and all that.
I remember at school, like somebody coming to me and saying to me, "Ben, this is it. Somebody's told me what they say after I'm blue. It's if I were green, I would die." And we're like, yes, it makes sense. And then, of course, we realised it wasn't. But, I mean, I could imagine over the years that... have you heard some other weird things that people thought you were saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, the word blue itself kind of like had different meanings in the places we were going. In England, people were thinking we were saying we were sad, Mm-hmm. So, and we had to explain that was not the meaning. And they say in Germany they use the word blue to say drunk. So,
wow.
Yeah. So they were we were having drunk people coming up and saying, "I'm blue," and I was like, okay, now I get the meaning of what you're saying to me, because when they were saying "I'm blue" in the beginning, I just could not catch the concept of it. And then the one of the funniest part was in Russia, and someone on a TV show while we were being interviewed said that blue was meaning gay.
Wow.
So yeah, which is great. So we had different meanings all over the world, and it was, I mean, I had no idea at all that choosing the color blue, which is my favorite color, of course,
right,
would somehow push me into this kind of thing. But it was curious because it helped out. It kind of like got people remembering the song for more reasons.
It's interesting kind of to think the different meanings it has in all countries like that, actually. So it's fascinating.
It's the same thing about the number, like Eiffel 65. A lot of people were asking, were you born in 65? And there's a really, really funny meaning behind that. I mean, how we got to 65 is incredible because we did not choose it at all, believe me. Neither of us chose Eiffel 65 as the number, because we only chose Eiffel. When the song was about to come out, we chose Eiffel. And we did everything. You get the label copy up and going with all the information about the song on it, and we gave this to our producer, which had to control it, of course, and then give it to the graphic designer so that we would have the sleeve done. And what happened was that the producer at the time was on the phone, and he was trying to write down a phone number on a piece of paper. He put it over the label copy. He did not know that he was out of the blank paper and writing on the label copy. So the last two digits of the phone number were 6 and 5.
Wow.
And it really ended up next to the name. So the graphic designers thought, okay, they added this in a second moment. So he didn't ask anybody. He just fused it all together, and it became Eiffel 65. So when the song came out, I was like, 65? Where did this come from? I don't remember that. And I went to Mauri and I said, "Listen, Mauri, do you have any idea about the 65 thing?" He goes, "No, I thought you and Massimo decided it." I said, "No, I don't remember anything about that." So when we got to talk to Massimo, he said, "Yeah, it was a mistake. I realized it later, but the song was already out, so there was no way to change it. So that's how we became Eiffel 65.
Wow, that's incredible. It sounds kind of rolls off the tongue well, though, doesn't it? Eiffel 65.
Yeah. I mean, it was really weird, because there was no way that we had a number in our mind. I mean, 6 and 5, nothing related to any of us. None of us were born in 65, and there was no real relationship with the number.
Fascinating. I mean, with the song and with the album too. I mean, you guys were one of the first bands really to use what we now know, of course, as auto-tune, which really kind of set a trend
auto-tune
as well.
and vocoders, right? Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. I mean, what's kind of your take on how that's developed now? And I mean, it seems to get a lot of criticism now, doesn't it, that people kind of rely on it too much?
Well, it really all depends on how you move into autotune. back at the time when we were making music, and we were not putting any limits to anything. Of course, I mean, I can sing, and I can sing a lot of different things, but what we were looking for was something different. So as we were processing sounds, like putting compressors on sounds or reverb or anything like that, we kind of moved this concept to vocals. And we were putting a lot of autotune and vocoders on vocals at the time, so that we had this kind of like robotic, kind of futuristic sound. That's what we were looking for back then. But this kind of concept moved on a different way. Daft Punk obviously made this a religion, and they used it widely. And I would say that they are one of the best bands that I actually know that can really use this thing in a really cool way. I think the big problem with autotune at the moment is when you use autotune, you like to fix people up. Because there's a lot of talking about being an in-tune singer, or a kind of like a little sloppy tune singer, and I don't concentrate too much on that. I think that what is best for a band is usable. I mean, if you have it, it's like having a computer and having to go to the library to get a book, If you have something and you can use it, then go ahead, I think technology should be spent to have someone's idea get to people. That's what I think. And of course, you can be a DJ pushing buttons, or you can be a musician playing a guitar or a keyboard. But if the final result that you're getting is that people are enjoying what you're giving to them, then I think that there's kind of like a compromise about this kind of use, like autotune and pushing buttons, or using technology to make your music bigger than what you would normally be able to do with your own hands. So I really don't have a problem with that. I think that technology is to be used and spent to make creativity a bigger and more usable thing.
That's a good way of looking at it, actually. It's very, very fascinating way of looking at it. One thing, though, that I will say here, Jeffrey, that we're doing on this show is... obviously, as I said at the top of the show, we love you guys. We just love Blue. It's a song that I haven't got out of my head in 16 years, and I'm not complaining, because to me it's one of...
Oh, don't tell me.
It's like the best songs in the history of the world. So what we're trying to do on the show this year is we're trying to play it 100 times in 2015. We're trying to get to the magical century. And I don't know if are there still people out there who are religiously playing this song like us? Because we think we might be doing a first here, Jeffrey. We don't know.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, first of all, thank you for playing it 100 times. That would be great. I don't know how much you're going to love us after you play it 100 times, but I'm really curious to see what comes out of it. Well, I do have to say one thing. We're touring a lot, and Blue is incredible. Every time we close the concert, because it's the closing song of our show, every time we close the concert with that song, when it gets to that song, it's incredible. We have people out of their minds, and we're talking about 18-year-old kids up to 45-year-old, people that have children and have families and all that kind of stuff. So it's incredible how this song is somehow still working its way into the evergreen market.
Well, another aspect of that too was a couple of years ago, of course, Iron Man 3. The credits start rolling. What do we hear? Yo, listen up, here's the story.
Listen up, here's the story.
Amazing.
Right, exactly.
Like, you all of a sudden get these people straight away, take them back to 1999. It must have been incredible to have them come to you and say, hey, can we use Blue at the start of Iron Man 3?
Well, there's a really curious thing behind that. Like Massimo, the producer, called me, and he said, "Listen, I have some good news and I have some bad news." And I was like, "Okay, can we start with the bad news?" He goes, "No, I have to start this time with the good news." He says, "We have Iron Man 3, the movie, coming out, and they've requested Blue." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" Because I really love the Marvel stuff. I mean, if I can be a superhero, I would be a superhero. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
I love this stuff. I've been loving it since I was a kid. Spider-Man, and I have all the Blu-rays and all that kind of stuff. I really like it. And so he was telling me that they were going to use Blue for Iron Man 3. But he said, listen, they only asked for one condition. I was like, what's that? He says, well, they have an Asian market on this, a Chinese market, and they want us to use a Chinese version of Blue.
Wow.
For that market. And I was like, okay. And I had a Mandarin teacher helped me sing the entire intro in Mandarin.
Wow.
If you look it up on the internet, you'll find it. It sounds exactly like the English one, but it's in Mandarin.
Wow.
So that was really funny because I had to learn it overnight. He says, listen, we have to give this back to them tomorrow. I was like, what? I don't even have time to study this. I was like, well, we have a teacher coming in. You have to be flying in to sing this. And so I had to go into the studio and learn the Mandarin version of it and sing it and get it done by one day. And
Wow.
that was really incredible. And another weird thing about the movie is that when the movie came out, I did not know that it was the opening track of the movie. I just didn't know. I thought it was like, a song they use while there's some kind of scene in some kind of club, and people were talking over it and stuff like that. That's what I was imagining, So I invited a lot of friends and we were all there waiting to the movie to start. And so when the movie got, started and it was the opening track, I had my mouth so wide open I couldn't believe what was happening. I was like, holy shit, this is incredible. I can't believe it.
Wow.
This has got to be out of the world. And that was amazing. And all my friends were really laughing out loud because I had such a silly face on at the moment. And so as you can see, even though Blue has done so much, it still surprises us.
Yeah, that's incredible. Wow. A lot of people right now are Googling the Mandarin version of it, Jeffrey. They're trying to find that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm sure that they're going to have a laugh about it.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
before we let you go, one question I've got to ask, which no doubt everybody asks you in every interview right now, Jeffrey, that you're doing at the moment. A new album, Eiffel 65. It looks like it's been in the works for some time. I know you've been doing some of your solo stuff recently, which is great, by the way. We're going to play some of that as well. But
Thanks.
Eiffel 65 new album, what's the latest?
Well, what we're trying to do is actually get ourselves into a common sound. The biggest problem is not writing songs, but getting the right sound to it. Back then, we had our own sound, so we were kind of like, making something new. Nowadays, with so much stuff going on, it's really hard to be, innovative, and that is the biggest, mountain to climb at the moment. We really have to get over that. We are working on it. We do have a few songs that we did right back then, some new stuff that we came up with right now. We do have some English and Italian tracks, but we still have to, get the sound on focus, which is not ready yet. So hopefully within this year, we might be having a single coming out, and once we have that going, we'll see what kind of market works around that and, kind of like build on that.
Well, fingers crossed, because I know we're definitely looking forward to it. And I will say that obviously we're focused a lot talking about Blue and all the early stuff, but I'm a fan of everything else that's been released since, mate. And I can tell you one thing, there's stuff kind of also around the Torino Olympics as well. Obviously you guys are native from Turin. That was all great as well. And I think a lot of it, people need to check into it more, because I really do think that the sound and everything that you guys have is amazing. And there's a lot more to it than Blue, Jeffrey. Can I just point that out?
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, there is a lot behind Eiffel 65. You can check out, the socials, our internet site, which is eiffel65.com. We do have updates on our Facebook page, official Facebook page, and each one of us has a solo project, which is giving to the band and, working on ourselves. So we really look forward to having some new fans coming in.
And we will put all the links up on the pages, of course, and people can, of course, check you out on Twitter as well, at Jeffrey J. Follow you online and see what else you're up to, mate. Huge pleasure having you on the show this morning. It's an honour to chat to you. I'm so excited that we've gotten this done, and we look forward to hearing those new tracks and seeing you back out here in Australia too in the future, hopefully too.
Well, yeah, we are already talking about, a new tour in Australia. We have some emails right now talking about how many gigs we're going to be doing and which cities we're going to be doing them in. So
Hobart,
if we're
come
lucky,
to Hobart. You didn't come here last time. Come down here this time.
well, I do have to go to Melbourne for sure, because if I don't, my aunt is going to kill me. But and I do want to get back to Sydney. Oh my God, what an amazing city!
Beautiful
I was like,
city.
breathtaking. It was incredible to be there, and the response in the shows was so incredible. It was like, oh my God. I mean, I really would like to have a house in Sydney, because it's such an incredible place. But my aunt would kill me if I buy a house in Sydney. So I have to think about what I'm doing, because, I'm kind of like, controlled from up in the sky, so I have to be really careful.
Start in Melbourne, then you can work to Sydney. She'll
Yeah,
get over it eventually.
maybe I'll rent a house in Melbourne,
Yes.
so my aunt will be happy, and then I'll buy one in Sydney.
That works.
But I won't tell her. I hope she doesn't hear this interview.
No, she won't hear this at all, mate. Appreciate your time, and best luck. We look forward to seeing how everything goes in 2015.
Ben, it's been great. It's been really great to be here, man. Thank you so much.
Now, one thing that we've done here on the show since 2011, for 6 years in a row, is commentate on the Tasmanian Ice Hockey League Grand Final. And this weekend, this coming Saturday, it is the 2017 edition of the Tasmanian Ice Hockey League Grand Final. Now, initially we were going to be commentating all the playoff games, given our travelling schedule kind of got a bit skew-if last week and getting back in time for that one. We will only be commentating the Grand Final happening this Saturday, as I just mentioned. Now, at the time of recording this, we are recording this on a Monday because we're releasing this on a Monday. We do know that the Red Barons are into the Grand Final. They're first since our very first year we commentated back in 2011. They will either play the Falcons, who have not missed a Grand Final since 2013, or the brand new team in this year's competition, the Icebreakers, who last week eliminated my team and the reigning defending champions, the Cougars. So it's going to be an interesting grand final. I'm rooting for the Icebreakers. I'd like to see an Icebreakers Red Barons grand final, so we can kind of have someone new to lift that trophy. But what we thought we'd do in the lead up, because obviously we'll release the grand final commentary separately, and we'll probably put a few highlights on our podcast next week. We thought we'd go back to the very first year we ever did commentary for the Ice Hockey Grand Final, 2011 to be precise. Here is a snippet of our coverage of the 2011 Tasmanian Ice Hockey League Grand Final, our very first taste at doing this.
Yes, Ben, it was a great save by the Red Barons goalkeeper there, Joel Richardson, but wasn't enough because the ball spilled out to the Cougars player who slotted it in nicely.
That is a puck, of course, Sam. We must remember that, not a ball. But it's easy to forget these things. But I think, look, the Cougars once again bring it up into their half of the ice. And, we've got a loose stick. Everything's happening right in front of us here. It's a game. This is what's brilliant about ice hockey. There's so many people. And what are we watching here? Well, the whistle's gone. But look, I think we've got a bit of cross-checking going along here, Sam. The thing that a lot of people don't realise with ice hockey, because it's not well publicised here in Tasmania, it's a free-flowing sport. It hardly ever stops. I know we've just seen a stoppage, but very rarely will we ever see a stoppage.
That's right, and that's why the game is so hard physically, Ben, because there's just no stoppages. The players constantly on the move, and endurance is a very important factor in ice hockey.
The Red Barons here looking likely to score at the moment. The Cougars just cannot bring anything up the ice as they're trying to hold it in their end. They've got 36 seconds to ride it up here. The Cougars calling for it. Here's Graham Fell, your man, Samuel. He can't get a hold of it. Now the Red Barons out there on the breakaway. They've got somebody in the centre there, but he's not watching it as the puck gets brought up. Bit of a shovage up against the board. As now the Cougars have got a chance to break away. He holds on to it. Could this be it? That's a shot. Oh, it's gone wide. Oh, that would have been so handy. Richard Fox, he's not a happy chappy with that shot. That was a perfect opportunity. And now here come the Red Barons, a chance with only 8 seconds on the clock. Has it gone in? No, it hasn't. The Cougars once again, they're going to run out of time here, I think. Has a shot. It's in! 1 second on the clock! What can you say about that?
Absolutely magnificent, Richard Fox. I was a bit worried about him there, Ben, after he missed that shot. Aggressively hit his stick against the wall. But I thought he'd lost his cool there, but gathered the puck beautifully, Ben, and slotted it in, as you say, with 1 second left on the clock.
Well, it is Movember, Samuel, and it couldn't be Movember without at least one of the refs having a moustache. I think we're going back to the glory days of the 70s and the 80s in the NHL. We've got some posters around us here at the Glenorchy Ice Skating Rink that look like they haven't been changed since the 70s or 80s. Maybe that's where they're getting it from. But the Cougars in defence now for the first time in a while here. The Red Barons, they're just taking their time. No one marking up there on the side here. The Red Barons need a goal. It's gone over the top as the Cougars now have a chance here to break. Richard Fox, can he have a shot? He does! The Cougars are in front! What an absolute turn for the books. They've scored the last three. Samuel McCrossan. Is this the miracle on ice we've been talking about all night?
Unbelievable, Ben, and I think this right here is the advantage that the Cougars have with more players on the bench. They look a lot energetic, really energetic right now, and we see Richard Fox sitting on the bench right now. It's a very, very good looking moustache, Ben. I think any ice hockey player, any man for that matter, would be proud to wear that moustache.
If he hasn't raised at least $1,000, then I don't know what's wrong with the world. As the Cougars once again trying to just seal this with 3 goals. Has another shot. Oh, that was very high, up off the glass. As the Red Barons are now conferring along the side here. There's sticks going everywhere. There's players' hearts going everywhere. The Cougars shoving it up, having a look. Here's a shot. It's in. Oh, that's got to be it. That has to be it. The crowd now. This is an epic comeback here, brother. This is just the story of their season.
I think for a first effort we did okay. Sam in the commentary box there, of course, hasn't commentated a game of ice hockey, I think, since 2013, basically. So Dakoda should be in the box with me this weekend. Hopefully Paul might join me as well. But if you want to get along to the Tasmanian Ice Hockey League Grand Final, the Van Diemen's League Grand Final, of course, it's this coming Saturday at the Glenorchy Sea in the Tasmanian Ice Hockey Rink, which is the only one in the state, basically. It's in Glenorchy, if you didn't know that. Just follow Ice Hockey Tasmania on their Facebook for details, and I'm sure we'll post some details on our Facebook page during the week. Get along. It's a great day, and one that I definitely recommend. Well, we couldn't do this last week. We should have done some new ones when we were on the road, but
it's that time of the week to play everybody's favorite game show. It's Forget the Lyrics here on the Brink on Edge Radio. Over to the studio.
Oh, Forget the Lyrics. And as always, we're going to play 2 for you today. We're going to go back to 2013, first of all. This is myself, just letting you know. And I'm singing to the Thicky song, the iconic song, Blurred Lines, and maybe a little bit less controversial with the lyrics than the original song.
I'm not hearing any donkey noises. If you walk down to that zoo in Italy, you see a donkey and possibly a zebra. Maybe they're gonna mate. Maybe they're gonna relate. Maybe they're going to get together now. When it is born 9 months later down the road, you have an animal you've never seen before. It's half a donkey, it's half a zebra, it's got stripes on its legs now, it's gonna get ya, it's a zonkey. I know you like it, it's really cute now. Make Tali crying, it's a zonkey. She's still crying, she's got some tears in her eyes, really like zonkey. You want it now, make it like a cow, make one with a sow, cause you like mating animals together. That really sounded really bad now. I want the zonkey in my shop to show it off. It's really cute when you make it like a buff, because I want that zonkey, the zonkey with you. It's gonna make people come and visit your local zoo. You know, the funniest thing is...
Maybe being the operative word there. And we're also going to go all the way back 9 glorious years ago to the very first year we did Forget the Lyrics. My man Josh, he got in the booth and did his take of the iconic, and some say there's one song that you can never cover adequately enough, Bohemian Rhapsody. Let's hear how he went.
The brink has stooped to an all-time low. Ben, just turn my... Can we start again, Ben? You just... I sound like John Howard there. You just turned my mic down. I turned your mic down and not my mic down. Right, we have to... Okay, just bear with it, because we're not singing over this bit. So, you know, we'll just warm your voice up here. I'm turning mine down now. So we're going to start this again. Josh, thank you. Thank you. Testing. Awesome.
Here we go. It's yours. Floor's yours, baby.
The brink just stooped to an all-time low, singing about farts on the show. Oh my God, we're gonna go, Mama. We're gonna get fired. Potty humor's not funny, even when talking about the dunny. Mama, ooh. Ben didn't mean to make you cry. If he did a poo again this time tomorrow, leave leave the room, because it's gonna really make you, cry.
Ouch, Josh, ouch. Really hurts my feelings.
Well, Ben, too late. My time has come. It sends shivers down my spine. Something's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta go and do a number 2 and make some noise. Oh, I feel like I wanna die. I sometimes wish that I never ate that pork casserole.
Instrumental. I'll just flick myself on there, Josh. Do you need backup singers for the Galileo bit? I can be in the background just going, okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'll take your lead. I'll stand back. It's all yours. When you're ready.
I see no toilet paper sitting on the toilet wall.
On the wall, smelly.
Thunderbolts and lightning feels very frightening to me.
Smelly Leo.
Magnifico. I'm just a poor radio host, don't insult me.
Just a poor horse, don't insult him. He really likes to drink lots of tea. Perfect.
Easy come, easy go. This show will definitely go.
Silly Josh.
We'll not let him go.
Silly Josh.
Let me go.
I've lost it.
Let me go.
Smelly Josh.
Oh, mamma mia, why do we have to talk about the farts?
There's a smell and it smells really bad for me. Yeah, I think I stand by that fact that people agree with generally that it's a song that should never be covered. Alrighty, time to close it all out for another edition of The Brink, and we'll be back next week, Monday, of course. Now, as I said at the top of this show, announcements in terms of The Brink Unleashed and when it's been released, I can officially announce, we did put this on our Facebook page yesterday, if you didn't see that. First trailer will be announced released this time next week, 6th of November, followed by the second trailer on the 9th of November, the following Thursday, and the full film itself will be released on the 13th of November, so 2 weeks today, the full film, The Brink Unleashed 8, the 9th film in the franchise. Get excited. It's a good one. It's definitely a fun one, knowing myself on the road. There's some fun bits in there that I'm sure you will enjoy. Hashtag BU8 if you want to get involved with it, but for sure we will put more details up on our social media pages for you to get involved with that one and check it out. And no doubt this time next week we'll bring you a bit of a snippet of the trailer, as we often do when it comes into I guess his point of releasing these shows. In the meantime, if you want to stay in touch with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube as well. You can, of course, subscribe via Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. Actually, we're not on Spotify. That's the Oz Network. But follow the Oz Network on Spotify because we want you to. And while you're on these services, please leave us some feedback, some ratings. Rate us out of 5. I think today's worth of 4. I think it's a pretty good episode. So, yeah, we appreciate any feedback, support that you like to give us. You can message us. You can send us any comments or anything along the lines. And as I mentioned earlier in this episode, get along to the Ice Hockey Tasmania Grand Final this coming Saturday at the Glenorchy Ice Skating Rink. Going to be a good one, and let's see how that all plays out. In the meantime, thank you for tuning into The Brink. It's been a pleasure. Next week, episode 50. We're reaching the half century. Can you believe it? My name is Ben. Thanks for tuning in. Keep sucking those oranges, Hobart, and good night.